Jacob's Memorial Drinks Trolley is there. What are you selecting for us?
Well, as soon as it's the last drinks trolley of the year, I thought we'd fast forward to New Year's Eve, and how about a nice sparkly fizz? I particularly like a Chapel Down rosé.
Oh, very nice.
Timber.
Oh, very nice.
English sparkling. So, yeah, go with the English sparkling. Very, very tasty.
Very good. Thank you very much for all your hard work on the drinks trolley.
Yes.
Tonight's confession, final festive confession, comes from Mrs. Kringle. And it has 2 points of view. So it's written from the point of view of Mrs. Kringle. It then jumps to Mr. Kringle and then back to Mrs. Kringle.
Wow, I've never tried this before.
So it's quite a thing. Father Simon and the Elves of Forgiveness. Mrs. Kringle going first.
Okay.
My husband, let's call him Chris Kringle, enjoys being Father Christmas's representative at local schools and churches. He's always in great demand because he takes time and effort in his appearance, never runs short of his ho-ho-hoing, always stays in character, listens to the children and takes care not to disappoint them or reveal his identity as just another tired dad, so diminishing their trust in the real Father Christmas.
Obviously.
Anyway,
Of course.
on the morning of the St. Custard's Church Fair,
Oh, them again.
having seen him safely ensconced in the grotto in the church hall, I went to walk our dog on the nearby nature reserve. Our lovely Rhodesian Ridgeback called Mimi was full of energy. Like many dogs, loved to chase and retrieve a tennis ball, in particularly the squeaky kind. I had all the gear: house key, lead, treats, warm gloves, poo bags, the squeaky ball, and of course I had my mobile phone, all contained in my pockets and a small bum bag. We went out in the crisp December air. It was magical, Father Simon. Mimi and I had a very long walk, probably about 2 hours. It wasn't until I returned home that I realized the difficulty I had created for myself and Mr. Kringle. In those days, when a decree went out from Caesar Augustus,
Yes, it did,
in
didn't
those
it?
days, my phone was a Nokia 2600 Classic. Small rectangular device, not much bigger than a palm of your hand, a square screen at the top, a number keypad at the bottom, and in the middle, a toggle button that could be pressed upish, downish, leftish, and rightish to navigate the menus, or straight down to confirm the user's selection. I checked my phone for messages and saw that I had sent 78 text messages to Mr. Kringle. As I walked, the tennis ball in the bum bag had pressed against the toggle button on the mobile. Menu, select text, select recipient, select Chris Kringle, select send, send. Menu, select text, select recipient, select Chris Kringle, select send, send. Menu, select text, select recipient, select Chris Kringle, Chris Kringle.
Kringle, yeah.
It's the
Select send, yeah.
it's the Chapel Down.
Yeah.
Select send, send.
Send, yeah.
Every few minutes, a blank message was sent to Mr. Kringle's phone. I hadn't heard any bleeping because I was wearing a woolly hat and had a favourite film podcast playing in my earphones.
Well, that could be.
Yes, now known as Coburn and Mayo's Take. Apparently, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to delete 78 texts.
Wowza.
One by tedious one. I didn't want to delete our whole conversation. That went back years, obviously. When Mr. Kringle returned home, I heard the other side of the story and the difficulties it had caused. And here is the other side of the story.
Okay.
Now, Chris Kringle speaks. I think you should know I take my duties seriously. I had taken my mobile phone out and secreted it behind the grotto with my civilian clothes, placed where the superfluous chairs, tables and so on were hidden by curtains across the hall. As usual, the girl guides had done a magnificent job decorating the grotto, and Father Christmas and the elves, the guides, settled down for a busy Visit Father Christmas session. The church hall began to fill. The elves enthusiastically rang their bell to entice the visitors away from the white elephant stall, the teddy tombola, the wine raffle, and so on. Come and see Santa went out the cry. The parents' guardians paid a small fee. The children lined up and were ushered into the grotto in their family groups. All was going well. I was on good form, and every child was filled with the rosy hopes of Christmas. And then the trouble started. When the phone, oh dear, I'd forgotten to turn it to silent. I couldn't reach it because the phone was in my shoe behind a curtain under a table. Well, that's all right, I thought. I ad-libbed. Pay no attention, young Noah. It's just the elves mucking about, ho-ho.
Ho-ho.
Ah, don't worry, Penelope. Rudolph is just reminding me that the sleigh is full of toys, ho-ho-ho. What's that, Tarquin? That's Mother Christmas. I expect she wants to know what I would like for tea. Hot chocolate and cookies, of course, with a mince pie for afters. Ho, ho, ho. Elvira, don't go behind the curtain, dear. Your mummy is calling Elvira. Ho, ho, ho. 78 times Mrs. Kringle messaged me in all. 78. Just as I had the children fully believing in the magic of Christmas, they were cruelly brought back to modern life, and I had come up with some story. I am often a wreck after the stints in the grotto, but that year she put me through the ringer, if you see what I'm saying. Besides the inevitable cold I catch from being close to that many snotty children, besides the nylon rash from the uniform and the elastic marks on my face, I had the stress of changing my tried and tested routine to cover for Mrs. Kringle picking me 78 times. We now go back to Mrs. Kringle.
Oh, right, okay.
Of course, we then had an argument. After I apologised when getting weary of his moaning, I asked him why he didn't just simply break character, walk to his phone. Because I said, what if I had really needed help? When I'm in the grotto, I can't break character, he replied. Christmas is more important than real life. And it was then, Father Simon, I began to wonder if he really was the magical man in the red suit after all. Wow. How about that? An astonishing tale.
Yeah.
A Father Christmas tale, a Mrs. Christmas tale, all involving modern technology. What a story it was. Sister Susie, live from the Slough Bar.
Oh, Mrs. Kringle, I just love that one. And I just think, I don't understand why you'd take the ball and not actually use it with the dog and just keep it in your pocket. But, I'm not going to ask too many questions. It's Christmas. I'm going to forgive you. Of course I am.
Excellent. Let's just check in with Brother Matthew here.
What a Christmas miracle that was. I think we can all agree. I love the fact that Chris Kringle couldn't break character because he's like De Niro when he's in that grotto, isn't he?
Christmas is more important than real life.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right. And he was painting pictures, wasn't he? And enhancing the experience for the little Tarquins and Elviras and the rest of them. So, and isn't that the magic of Christmas? I think it is the spirit of Christmas, isn't it? So for that reason, I'm going to forgive.